What's going on? My name is Wesley Andrews, and this is my channel, Wesleyan Productions. I'm recording this in Los Angeles, California, right now, which is a blessing for sure. It's really cool to be out here and traveling and living life. I'm here meeting up with some friends and just enjoying the weather, like getting my name out there and just kind of like feeling the vibe. I feel like on where I see my future here and just like see my future in the world, honestly. And it's really cool. The reason I wanted to make this video is to tell this story. So the other day I was at Laguna Beach, and it was a beautiful beautiful day. And I went to this restaurant like right on the beach, and behind the restaurant they had a bunch of these little shops, and there was this crystal shop, and the doors were open, so it was very welcoming. I walk right in. I'm looking at these crystals. I'm looking at some crystal jewelry and stuff like that. And nobody was at the counter when I first walked in. And I was just kind of like checking everything out on my own. And then uh, this lady like walks out from the back, and she just like greets me, asks me how I'm doing, and immediately like I tell her I'm from Jersey, like not around here. And she goes, "Oh, you're from Jersey?" She goes, "I'm from Michigan. I'm not from here either." She goes, when I was 18, I moved out here, and my family sold my farm, so I knew like I wasn't leaving anything behind. And that kind of relates to me like on my journey, cuz I kind of feel like my family's like ready to move on from where I grew up, so I feel like as I continue on my journey, like it's okay to leave the nest, because like even my family's leaving the nest, and that's kind of how she felt too. And we're all like moving on. And she told me, she was like, "I gave myself 5 years out here, and if I didn't become financially stable like my first 5 years out here, like I would move back home." And I go, "Well, we're having this conversation here now, so I know what happened." And I was like, that's really inspiring to me, like as I'm on my journey and like continuing to make a name for myself and get out in the world. And she was just like, "Yeah, yeah, that's like it should be inspiring." But just like, no, there's been a lot of twists and turns, and like it hasn't been like all sunshine and rainbows. Just like all of us in our life, there's a lot of like tribulations that like life throws us through. But that's like what makes it interesting, and that's what she was also talking about too. She was like, in life there's always going to be conflict, like you wouldn't watch a movie without a conflict. Like any story has some conflict, and that's what makes it interesting, makes the story worth telling. Like I'm sure your craziest stories aren't like the stories you tell people, aren't just the normal things that happen every day, like your routine stuff. You tell the stories where something crazy happened, like things were stirred up. And that's always like the best stories, honestly. And like sometimes when you're going through stuff, it can be tough, but once you start to like detach and like look at the bigger picture and like see things, it's really cool. Just like all like the things you go through like make you stronger at the end of the day. And something, I had a friend send this to me. It said, like, instead of reacting and being like, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" have the perspective of, "What is this trying to teach me?" And like when you have that perspective, it takes you out of that victim mindset where you're just like you're a victim to the world and like passive, and it empowers you and makes you an active person in this society, in this life, and be like, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's so important. Like, what is this trying to teach me with like all the things you go through? Anyway, so I kind of got off track, and she just started talking to me about God and stuff, and it was like really interesting. And she was like, God uses us, like God works through people, like God uses us to express himself. And if you think about God, like if you think about an all one being, it gets boring being everything. So you kind of got to like dumb yourself down, just like we dumb ourselves down as like a video game character and like play a video game for a little bit. Like I believe that's what God does with us in this 3D reality, as humans, as everything that we can see. And she was just like, she's like, "I see you have a lot of light within you." And she was like, "Be careful out here, like be careful for the snakes in the grass out here, because there's going to be a lot of people that try to dim your light." And like that was just really interesting. And like it was funny because when she said that, it kind of like it registered, but then like I experienced things firsthand that like really like showed me like what she was saying, and I was like, wow. And like she was a spiritual lady, and I almost believe like she was a little psychic with it, or like her intuition like told her to tell it, because the conversation we had like was really powerful and like really like guided me through some things I've been going through like recently out here. And it's just really beneficial, and that's why I wanted to share it with you and just be like, watch for the snakes in the grass, like wherever you are, not in Los Angeles, California, just in everywhere, because there's snakes everywhere. And like if the snakes are going to be in the grass like vibrating low, like you got to vibrate high and be like up in the clouds. And it was funny, I told this to my friend, and she was like, yeah, you got to watch for the snakes and like just like, you know, like poke them out of the way and like walk over them. And I believe that too. And it was amazing, like we had like an amazing conversation. And she's like, I wanted to support her business after like just the beautiful conversation we had. So I'm like looking at necklaces, and she asked me like when my birthday is, and I tell her, and she's like, oh, this one's your birthstone. And she grabs this necklace off the rack, and she grabs a little baggie, puts it in a little baggie, and she goes, here, this is a token of our conversation. And she just gives me this necklace for free. And like I was just like, wow, like it's amazing, like just this little, it's a little thing, and it just like meant so much to me. Like again, like a token of our conversation in the moment, and like a token of my whole trip like out here. And like I've been traveling a lot, and I think sometimes like I can take it for granted in a way, but I'm making like memories that are gonna last me a lifetime. And like this is definitely gonna be a little like token from that. And it's like amazing like how like I didn't give her money for it, but like I gave her my energy. And like that's so important. Like I feel like we can give and receive in so many more ways than just like through monetary value and stuff. And I think as our society, as we go forward into this more digital age, like we need to like start thinking about that more. Like how can we give value in other ways that aren't just through like money or all these like fake things. And that's something I really like noticed being out here in LA. Like even in Jersey, anywhere you go, there's gonna be fake people. There's gonna be people that act like something they're not. But I feel like something people like really value about me is like my authenticality. Is that a word? Authentic, just being authentic, and my realness. And like out in LA, there's like a lot of like fakeness, and like a lot of like fake people, and a lot of people like coming here trying to like make something and be something they're not. And like I feel like that can drain me, because like I have a big heart and stuff. So like when I see, and I love like just I don't do bullshit. Like I wanna be real. So when I see like fake shit, or people like do one thing and that like a lot of like fucked up shit, like, you know, it just like it like hurts my soul. And like, you know, like LA can be like a really low vibrational place, and there's a lot of people like trying to be something they're not. And I think it's just like so weird to me. And it's funny like it's funny, I've like had interactions with people, and I literally noticed this today. Like it's funny to me when I impress somebody for just being myself. Like I'll be like, oh, I appreciate you, to someone at the counter, and you can tell like they're almost taken back by like the kindness and stuff. And like that's just something I do on an everyday basis, and it's like a subconscious thing for me now, like just normal. And that's so much stuff about things I know, things I talk about. Like I just think it's normal, and I think about it all the time, so I almost like take it for granted. But when I get out in the world and interact with other people, I realize that it's just it's not normal. And like I'm a very unique being, and I'm really grateful for my light and just the positive influence I'm having on the world. And that's something like I've been told too, just like keep on being that positive influence, and like never let my light be dimmed by anything. And that's really like how I feel. And I just want to keep going with the flow and keep going with the motions of life, because that's really like all you can do. Like if you try to go against the stream, like you can choose to do that, but it's not going to be a fun life. So be like water, because you are water. You're mostly made up of water. And just keep going with the flow. Go with the infinite stream of the universe. Infinity is the measurement of eternity. Everything in the universe is math. So I used to hate math in high school, and I think like it's annoying how they teach math, but math is really interesting, and you should start learning about math and the laws of the universe and everything, and how stuff like that works. It's really cool. All right, I'm coming up on like a few minutes here. This is a little longer than the last video I made like this, but it's cool, and I just definitely had some stuff to say and some stuff to get out. And I love making videos like this. If you're still watching this, I love you a lot. You're very awesome. Peace.